And good morning, Minister. I'm very grateful for you making the time of what I know is a very busy day to be with us here to give evidence to the committee. Mr Tompkins made reference to the transition period. I wonder if you could help me understand, as a point of clarification, is it still UK government policy and within this deal that the transition period should come to an end at the end of 2020?
Yes.
Okay, so in that sense, you envisage that there will be a comprehensive free trade agreement with the European Union negotiated and ratified in a little over 12 months' time?
Yes.
That's the UK government's position?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Now, there was some discussion about a differentiated arrangement for Scotland, for Northern Ireland. I'd like just to bring this back to very simple language that I know my constituents, and particularly businesses within my constituency, Renfrewshire South, will appreciate. So just a very simple question, Mr Gove. Will Northern Irish businesses have easier access to the European single market than businesses in the rest of the United Kingdom?
Yes.
They will do. Do you think this puts businesses within Scotland and indeed in England and Wales at a competitive disadvantage to businesses in Northern Ireland?
No, it need not.
It's not. Why would it need not?
There are, if we secure the free trade agreement that we are looking to secure, then it should be the case that there will be no quotas, no tariffs, no quantitative restrictions, no additional friction, and that would allow businesses in Scotland, Wales and England to have full access to the EU market. But it is, of course, the case that in Northern Ireland there are specific factors which mean that we want to ensure that there is no need for infrastructure at or near the border, and that requirement, which was, as Professor Tompkins pointed out, something that my friend Mike Russell insisted on, we have ensured that this deal delivers on that.
Very much appreciate the delicacy and the sensitivities of Northern Ireland. My question more pertains to what the economic impact would be for businesses in Scotland. Now, in your remarks just there, you used two qualifying words, should and if. This is contingent upon a deal being negotiated by the end of next year, which, if you forgive me, I'm sceptical, as I know many people are, can actually be achieved, given the normal duration that these deals take. So what assurances can you give for businesses in Scotland if that deal is not negotiated by the end of next year, that they will not be put at a disadvantage?
We will be doing everything we can as a UK government, and I hope with the help of colleagues in the Scottish Parliament and the Scottish Government, to ensure that we get a good free trade agreement. It's emphatically in the interests of both the EU and the UK, and it's also been the case during the period that we've been negotiating the withdrawal agreement and the political declaration that progress has been made in mutual understanding in a variety of areas, like a satisfactory level playing field, which should mean that these negotiations can be concluded very quickly.
My final point is just to bring it back to a question that the convener raised in his opening line of questioning. A clear majority of people in Scotland voted to remain within the European Union. It is the only part of the United Kingdom where that result has not ultimately been recognised. And you have conceded, as your colleague Dominic Raab conceded, when he said that this deal is a cracking deal for Northern Irish businesses because they stay part of the UK customs territory, but they've got seamless access to the EU single market. You're conceding that this deal could, and may very well, and is perhaps likely, to put businesses in Scotland, to put businesses in my constituency at a competitive disadvantage. Do you think that's fair?
Well, I think businesses in your own constituency and across Scotland will be at a competitive advantage when we secure a free trade agreement. One of the things that would put businesses in Scotland at a competitive disadvantage would be if Scotland were to separate from the United Kingdom and that we were to have new strains, new tensions and new friction in that economic, social and cultural and political relationship.
Well, thank you for answering my questions, but I don't think businesses in my constituency will be reassured by that at all.
Now, Mr Gove, to Alec Rowley.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr Gove. Can I just, following up on that, try and clarify? Things seem to have happened so fast, it's sometimes difficult to keep up with where we actually are in terms of Brexit. But I noticed quite a number of commentators yesterday and today still talk about the possibility of a no deal in terms of, I assume, that the fact that the Prime Minister wrote seeking a possible extension takes us past the 31st if you've not got a deal on the legislation through Westminster. But it's also been described that this deal has a trapdoor to no deal at the end of next year. I assume that's linked to whether or not you do get a free trade deal with